Hi ho, Terry the Frog here. Yep. All right, let's see where we go into politics. Basically, now a lot of you basically watching this are going to understand that this is the whole thing about the Redford controversy is just one part of a huge puzzle. Now, how it affects things and so on, and especially in Alberta, is a pretty long, convoluted story. So I'm going to have to break it up into several pieces for you to understand pretty much the whole story. The whole story really starts over 40 years ago. It all starts basically when Peter Lougheed won the very first PC election that led to basically a continued basically 43-year continuous PC government in Alberta. This is pretty much unheard of in most countries, short of basically Russia or something, where there is only one party, like the Communist Party or something. Now, there's been a couple times where opposition parties has come close, and as a result of that, one leader or another has always fallen. But in this particular case, this is no different than a lot of the other stories over the decades. But let's start right now. So let's say section 1 will be basically just to give you the background on what's exactly happened. Now, 44 years ago was the election, again, as I said, of Peter Lougheed. And he continued on basically for, I believe, something like about 10 to 14 years, but I have to double check that. During that time, now the reason why I'm going back this far back is, the first thing is that this is one of the reasons why Redford was toppled. Is that when you have a government running around for 43 years, pretty much unopposed. Yeah, I mean, there's times when you get close, but there's still the government. And for 43 years, no one has been able to take them down. As such, there's been basically talk from one party to the other and one government to the other that basically is that if you happen to be a cabinet minister or you get assigned to the cabinet or you're the premier yourself, you pretty much come out as a king or a queen in the case of Redford. In fact, Ralph was actually called King Ralph because of his longevity in politics. And this is, from a guy who started out as basically a chain-smoking, reporter for the I think it was the Calgary Herald. So during those years, the early years, what happened was that Trudeau and the federal government in Ottawa had came out with the National Energy Program, and it created Petrocan, but it also reallocated resources and the way they were treated. It virtually bankrupted Alberta almost overnight. Alberta was making oil and was making a fair amount of money also in terms of natural gas and so on. But then with the National Energy Program, the money that was involved in that got redistributed. And the 80s was a massive disaster for Calgary and Edmonton, where basically at one point, really, the only place you can get a job was working in public service. So now, the fact of the matter is that these Trudeau years really caused the root problem right now that's in our government right now. The fact of the matter is this, is that anything liberal or anything considered to be left-wing as a direct result is now tainted. That's one of the reasons why the opposition liberals, and to a point the NDP as well, though the NDP has never been as well organized, or have the right resources, for that matter, to win a single election. And for 40-something years, this was literally the only case where basically there were times that they may have gone close, but because of that pure raw hatred that Albertans have for Trudeau and the Liberal Party, the Liberal Party will never stand a chance, at least not in this generation. I would say probably with the influx of the new people, it makes it a little bit closer, but not close enough. It's still going to be probably, I mean, unless of course a PC minister or something like someone like that on public TV decides to come out in a Ku Klux Klan cloak and beats up a nun on live TV, it ain't going to happen. You're going to have Liberal Party member after Liberal Party member basically going and saying, like, please vote for us because we are the really centrist party. And realistically, actually, they are. But that's for another topic. But that one moment in time changed Alberta politics forever. So imagine 43 years you've had an unobstructed, no challenge government where you control the purse. Under Stelmach, they gave themselves pay raises. We had absolutely nothing to say about it. We couldn't stop them. And it went on and on like this. Every single government thereafter did something crazy. And whenever they did this, basically, their popularity in one way or another would drop. But this is where the point where basically is that it's almost ingrained, that if you all happen to be one of the leaders of one of the ongoing leaders or the minister and so on, you had no one basically to be responsible to. And you knew that you'd be reelected next one, unless you really did something really, really fucked up. So this will end part 1.